I love this kind of thing. I'm going to read two very, very short stories for you all. I really like form stories, so stories that take the form of some other familiar type of media. The first one is in the form of a Reddit post. It's a very recent one. It came out in Cult just recently. And it comes from a place of, I've been teaching college freshmen for the last 6 years, and I'm very curious about the sort of online masculinity that has developed with that generation right now, and the sort of sense of deprivation of joy that they all seem to have internalized as what masculinity means. So this is in the voice of someone of that ilk. It's funnier than that, I promise. Post in People's Voice Forum dated April 24th, 2022. @deleted. Question for you guys. First, I gotta say, nobody's more PV pilled than me. I've been following so long. I was one of the first 100 buyers of Vcoin. So yeah, they even gave me a job on the Power Vita supplements team when all that went down. Use my affiliate code VoiceBox5151 for $5 off the new Power Vita XL line. Always gotta grind, haha. All I'm saying is PV changed my life. Found me right when I needed it. I guess my life was fine, kinda, normal, boring. Out of college, back to the hometown, dating this girl I knew in high school. Things get rocky when she wants me to get therapy. Says I'm driving her nuts. Criminally indecisive is what she calls me. I told her therapy is for people who have problems. Wrong answer, apparently. Finally, I say I'll try it, and then I say that too many times without any follow-through, so she was on the verge of dumping me. At that time, then, I connect with Dr. Hansen. He's very cool, friend from high school, too. He's not an actual doctor, because he flunked out of med school, but he got his online psych certificate during the pandemic, so his practice is legit. He's the one who said Seth Cohen and People's Voice might be just what I need. Deadass. He was on to something. I break up with Tanya that same week. I'm not going to wait for her to just drop me. How's that for indecisive? What I mean is, I was a weak little beta before. Sorry, I've never read this out loud before. This is very fun. Now I never worry about any of that shit, thanks to the list. I've been keeping up since Seth started it. I've never deviated. I've cut out tons of shit. I haven't had banned sports drink brand since it was added for giving boycotted influencer a brand deal. This is all in brackets as if it's been redacted in some way in the story. Just want to give you a visual sense as well. A brand deal, it was added for giving boycotted influencer a brand deal. Gave up on the sandwich cookies, not to be named. Haven't touched anything pasture-raised, free-range, or any flavor of organic in years. You get it. I even reported @deleted from my gaming squad. Shout out Wolfpack98223. Get in the comments. When he went off list, snacking on banned chip brand. Got to keep each other honest, right? Anyway, today I wake up at like 5, shaking for that first smoothie. My real Power Vita bros know. Go to the fridge and I've got no milk. Gotta get to the store. No way I can do Power Vita powder dry. Trust me, I've tried. Ha. All good, smoothie can wait. I pound 5 PV protein bars and take my supplements, the ones that burn fat and build muscle, increase testosterone, sharpen focus, decrease doubt. Get yours today at peoplesvoice.com/powervita/shop. I get online for work. I send some emails. I shoot the shit on here, the usual stuff. I go for a snack, and that's when I realize I'm out of Roxy's peanut butter pretzel crunch bites. Now, I know you may not agree, but damned if they aren't the best snack I've ever eaten. Had at least a handful every day of my life, back all the way to childhood. So now I really need to go to the store today. Well, by like 2 p.m., I'm shaking for real, and so I set the auto mouse and dip out early. New PV ep dropped at noon, saved it for the store since I knew they'd be pumping that banned pop artist through their janky speakers. And man, Seth was on a tear today. Y'all heard him on the shit about Y'all heard him on the shit they found buried in the Arizona desert? Tech way beyond what the Egyptians and Greeks had. Probably had some help, from the stars, but that's just my theory. Anyway, I'm going through the aisles, got the list up on my phone, checking that I don't grab anything banned or trendy. Don't want to be one of the mindless herd, right? And Seth's got bidets on the block for Who's the Expert segment, and he's tearing this guy apart. No American needs a European asshole hydrant. I mean, what a line. Right as I turn down the snacks aisle, he gets to his new additions to the list. I'm listening, but I'm almost drooling because I can now see that blue and gold tint of Roxy's near the end of the row of puffed up packaging. In my head, I'm already tossing a golden brown nugget in the air, catching it smooth in my mouth. Real alpha shit. It feels like I'm dreaming when I hear Roxy's finest snacks in Seth's voice. I've got that big, beautiful plastic bucket in my hands, and all at once, I've got this tremble in my hands, rattling those nuggets around like lotto balls. There's this weird pressure in my throat, and my vision's sparking, and, well, I'll admit I freaked a little. I started hurling shit off the shelves, maybe screaming, I don't know. I rip into that Crunch Bites container, and they explode all over the floor, and I'm right down there shoveling them into my face. Not me at my top, for real. Might have even blacked out a bit. And then I'm sitting there, and this lady in a security shirt's shouting at me, cops are with her, peanut butter pretzel dust all over me, and not gonna lie, I'm wondering what Roxy's could have done to get on the list. What kind of man I am for succumbing like that. Does PV really have my best interest? A bunch of shit. I'm like, should I call my mom? But my folks cut me off after I put a bunch of their money into Vcoin, and now I got nobody but the Wolf Pack, and I can't call them because all I've got is their gamer tags. The cops walk me out, and I'm mumbling about PV and supplements and all hell. They book me, and they fine me for destruction of property and some shit. They only just let me come home. So I guess my question is, have you guys ever dealt with something like this? Thanks. I'm really needing some support right now. Top comment, @ModeratorBot. This user has been banned, blocked, and reported. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a fun one to write, and it was really fun to read. This other one I've read a few times before at other things. It came out, actually that I think I already mentioned, but I should mention again. That just came out on Colt's website, so you can check it out there if you want to reread it. This one came out in Pioneer Town magazine about 4 years ago, probably, and it is in the form of a will. So, the last will and testament of Myrtle Evelyn Cooper. I, Myrtle Evelyn Cooper, nee Hartman, of 7649 West Shore Drive, Egg Harbor, Wisconsin, previously of Worcester, Massachusetts, who only moved to Wisconsin for my first husband and couldn't be bothered to move again once he died, declare this to be my last will and testament and hereby revoke all previous wills and codicils, so Ronald might as well burn that useless piece of shit he's got. It won't hold up in court. Article 1, funeral expenses and payment of debts. All funeral arrangements have been made and expenses have been paid, so there is no need for my family to concern themselves or muck up my plans. I have purchased a personal plot in Lakeview Cemetery and have sold my portion of the couple's plot purchased by my third husband, Harold Shaw, as I had little desire to sleep with him in life and no desire to do so for eternity. All enforceable unsecured debts are to be paid out of my estate. These debts do not include any payments to scammers, mooches, or layabouts. Article 2, money and personal property. Legacies. My financial assets, with 2 exceptions, will be divided among my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, among other family members. The allotments will be based upon the final version of my ranking system, which has the sole copy of which is already with my executor. Those with 5 stars will receive a larger percentages, 4 stars commensurately less so, and so on, with 1-star ranked people receiving the smallest percentages. B, the first exception is $20 to be paid to my dear friend, Ruby Salazar. In 1998, I lent her money that she never repaid, so I leave this in case she needs a bit more. The second exception is my youngest sibling, Ronald Matthew Hartman, 0 stars, who shall receive a sum total of $1 minus postage. Bequests. My mother's ring, an heirloom passed down from mother to daughter for 6 generations, shall go to my granddaughter, Alexa Warden, under the condition that her mother, who twice tried to steal it from my finger as I slept, never get her hands on it. To my eldest daughter, Millicent Warden, I leave the remaining canned goods in my pantry. If she wants an heirloom so bad, she can have beans. To my eldest son, Bernard Cooper, I leave the furniture constructed by his father. It has all been disassembled by an expert and boxed together for easy transportation. No instructions for reassembly will be provided. To my youngest daughter, Kansas Tedeschi, I leave the garden gnome that sat in my driveway for 37 years. She ran over the original with her car and thought she had convincingly replaced it with the current inferior gnome. To my youngest son, Maxwell Shaw, I leave my 2011 Subaru Outback and my collection of Christmas ornaments, which he has on several occasions and within earshot referred to as tacky and tasteless, on the condition that the ornaments be visibly displayed each Christmas for 10 years following my death. My executor has been instructed to check in and repossess the car if necessary. Finally, upon the recent discovery of a scheme to claim my possessions before I'd gone, involving color-coded stickers hidden surreptitiously on objects throughout my home, I have decided that the remainder of my tangible properties shall be distributed on the following terms. Those who did not participate in the scheme, primarily my grandchildren and great-grandchildren, the Deers, will be given 24 hours unaccompanied in the house to claim whatever they may wish. My son Maxwell, who despite his participation revealed the details of the scheme and its participants to me, and his husband Robert Porter, will then have 24 hours to do the same. The participants of the plot may pick over whatever is left. All claims will be reported to and recorded by my executor, who will arrange distribution and monitor the process. Article 3, real estate. In my final years, I have heard many pleas and bribes from my children and siblings for the home at 7649 West Shore Drive. After giving it due consideration, the property will be divided among them as follows. A, to my daughter, Millicent, I leave the front and back doors and all interior doors, including hardware. To my son, Bernard, I leave the windows, curtains, and accompanying hardware. To my daughter, Candace, I leave the refrigerator, range, and dishwasher to be removed at her expense and reinstalled at her expense. To my son, Maxwell, I leave all fixtures, faucets, sinks, bathtubs, and toilets. To my younger sister, Ethel, I leave the hardwood floors, all the cabinets, the exterior siding, and the roofing tiles. To my brother, Ronald, I leave the gutted shell. If these divisions are not satisfactory, I have left instructions for the property to be donated to the local fire department that they might burn it down for a training exercise. Article 4, residuary clause. I leave the remainder of my estate to my executors. They may do with it what they wish and have been given my permission to claim any bequests or legacies unclaimed or rejected by the participants. Article 5, taxes. All estate, inheritance, and succession taxes, including any interest and penalties payable by reason of my death, are to be paid in equal shares by my siblings and children. My grandchildren and great-grandchildren are not to be burdened with such expenses from my gifts. Article 6, minors. If under this will any property will be payable to a person outright who is a minor, my executor may, with court approval, defer payment of such property until the minor reaches the age of the majority, as defined by their state of residence. Under no circumstances should the parent or guardian of the minor be allowed to claim bequests or legacies on their behalf. Article 7, fiduciaries. I appoint my second husband, Francesco Moretti, always my favorite, as the executor of my will and estate. He isn't related to any of the rest of you by blood, and I know I can trust him to carry out my wishes. If he is unable or unwilling to act in this capacity or resigns, I appoint his sister, Nicoletta Moretti, with whom I had a brief but exquisite affair in 1976. My executor shall have all the powers allowable under the laws of this state and has been granted the additional power to enforce all conditions and stipulations of the will as they see fit. I have signed this will as of this day of 2019, signed and declared by Myrtle Evelyn Cooper on blank, to be her will under no external pressures in our presence, who at her request, in her presence, and in the presence of each other, all being present at the same time, have signed our names, Francesco Moretti and Nicoletta Moretti. Thank you, everyone.